What's going on, YouTube? My name is ginj-tcg, or Chris, and I'm back with another Battle VIPs podcast. And as usual, Josh or JT Hydro is not here, so it's just going to be another Avery and I episode. What's good, Avery?
Hope you guys are ready to hear some yapping. You already know who I am. You already know who Chris is. You already know what's about to go down. We're going to go over not as much in this episode, yeah. But there's outside reasons to where we're not on our best right now. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, at least for me, I don't mind sharing it all. I've told everyone on the channel, school's picking up a bit. My midterms are all due next week, so this is I haven't touched the game since Hydrapple. I've played 3 videos for Hydrapple. That's literally all the Stellar Crown I've played. I don't know what top rogue decks there are. I haven't touched the client, haven't been to a locals. I've just been focusing on school and paying rent. So, I've done some meta digging and figured out what's the top decks, or at least I assume they would be based on statistics, but I can't say that from personal experience play, anything like that right now. So there's not going to be a rogue section. I think Avery, you're kind of in that same boat too, right?
Yeah, I've played maybe 1 or 2 games a day, and I haven't really run into anything at all that's worth even speaking about.
Yeah. That's more than me. So yeah, I apologize. We don't have rogue decks for today. However, if you are in my Discord, shameless plug, talk about your rogue deck. If you want some help making a list, refining the list, touching it up, I'm still trying to be more active in the Discord, but that's much more low maintenance for me and easy for me to do while doing homework or writing papers. So, if you still want to talk about rogue decks with me, I'm still available to do it, and so is Avery. But yeah, just not today's episode. It might be a shorter podcast episode as well, which we'll get into when we get there. And if you're good, I'm down to jump into the next top deck.
Let's get it.
So for the number 1 deck, we got the Charizard. Surprise, surprise.
Yo, who would have thought?
Right? I feel like the only thing that jumped out at me was people running Hero's Cape now. That's literally it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be controversial when I say this, but the whole Dusclops, Dusknoir line was a mistake. It should have never been printed. They already took the number 1 deck, and they just made it better. They said, nah, you guys need more, obviously. You don't already get everything you need when you need it. With Pidgeot, Rotom, Force Seal Stone, Zard players already are getting the Thanksgiving feast. Now they just got dessert.
Yeah.
Right, and I like the switch to Cape for you guys, not us. Because, at least for me, I can still Oko you, but it's gonna take a lot more for me to do so. All right, a lot of decks in the format aren't gonna be able to do that. All right, you're sitting at 430 HP. Why do you need more?
Yeah.
At what stage at 330 health, which is the second highest we got in the game right now, did you say, no man, I'm getting one shot too much. I need an extra 100. So you threw an extra 100 on there. If you're putting it on something like Rotom or Lumineon to stop them from getting one tap as easily, I get that, right? But from everything I've seen, you slap that on the first Zard you get in the active and just tell me to deal with it. And I deal with it, but I'm not happy to deal with it. And then you have Turo.
You could also run Radzard with Cape, which is something I've done a couple times playing with Rage. Because it's oh, cool, my Radzard swinging 250. Anyways, Cape, now you're not even KOing, and next turn I'm sitting there what just happened? Excuse me.
The Cape is just such a turnaround card. You'd think that with the HP numbers we have nowadays, an extra 100 wouldn't mean that much.
Nah, it does.
Nah.
Breaking 400 is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, it's back on number 1, which I feel is very what's expected at this point. Zard is always going to be a top 5 deck until the day it leaves. And right now it's seeing that number 1 spot again. And it's, deserved it. 13.5% of overall tournament wins with 50 or more players. That's legit. That is a very good statistic. Not the best, but with the high play rate of it, I've got it in the number 1. Even though it hasn't won the most tournaments. And if you're down for number 2, because I like that a lot more.
Oh, yes. The fun deck.
Now we got the winning most deck in the format right now at Snorlax Stall. And, this deck, menace to society.
That 21.6 is not a typo.
No, that is
Snorlax Stall is Snorlax Stall. It takes names, I swear.
Dude, it's got almost no bad matchups right now. Lugia's a bad matchup. Lugia is hot garbage right now.
I don't even remember what it was.
What were you saying?
I'm drawing a blank. I was gonna mention that like I was looking for Lugia on Trainer Hill and I sorted by winning, and it wasn't even in the top 15. Like how are you winning less than Charizard or Ninja? How do you let that happen to yourself? Like,
Just L's,
I
bro.
don't know what to tell y'all, bro. Like you need to like Rahul Reddy already put on a show for you guys, getting all the way up there. Like you guys need to do better.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I feel like the meta hasn't changed that much with Stellar Crown, but for some reason, Lugia's win rate in like tournaments is one of the worst things I've ever seen from Lugia in its entirety. Which, I mean, I'm not complaining about too much. I'm not a huge Lugia fan myself, so I think that's okay. But just the fact that Snorlax stalls, like, one notable auto loss has always been Lugia, I think has kind of created this space for it to now just blow up tournaments. You know what I mean? And with the list like this,
Yeah.
I mean, so look at Charizard. You know, when you're looking at like Charizard deck, we'll go back one. All you see is red text here. So playing double Ogerpon, the only way they could successfully really deal with it is Dusknoir, in which case you just play one of your 3 copies of Penny and Palpad, just keep recycling them, and it's like, you don't have enough Dusknoirs for this. I'll just pick them up and move on. So.
And it's one of the few times you take prizes with Snorlax.
Yeah, which could really help. Even if you prized a Penny, you could take it out of the prizes and then tell them to do it again, which I always like. So, you know, when I make my reappearance, this might be it. I think it's about time I bring Snorlax back in my life. It's been a long time since I've played it, since Hartford Regionals 2023. And I think it's about time I pick up the stack again and see what's good.
I agree.
Yeah.
Whenever I hop on live, I see stall on my lists, and I'm like, do I really want to ruin somebody else's day today?
Yes. The answer is
and I just choose to play the deck. I play Champo, and then I do it to myself.
Yeah, so solid number 2 spot from Snorlax. Very happy for it. I'm happy it's seeing success again. Will it take down another regionals? Honestly, I hope so. I love when a deck like this that everyone hates just takes down some massive event, and then people are like, oh, this deck is trash, it ruins the format, yet they're playing Charizard, and they could just deal with this thing by, like, playing an extra Switch, an extra Turo, stuff like that, and they just refuse. You know, playing the Sandshrew, which is in this list right here, I think is super smart. To stop stall from recycling trainers with, like, Palpad and rods and stuff like that. I mean, this list doesn't play rod, but in general, like, I think that's such an overpowered thing to Tech 4 stall. And people just don't.
People haven't teched for decks like Thorns or Stall for way too long, and then they get mad. It's 1 or 2 cards that you need to be able to beat these decks consistently and decidingly, and you guys just think that you have the most perfect ever list, and you just refuse to do it. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
If a deck is upsetting you that much, and you run into it that much, just tech.
Yeah. But again, like, if you look at the play rate, it's only 3.9%. That's not insanely high. If you're like, whatever, if I run into stall, let me just vent about the matchup and then move on because you just ran into that one stall player, like, all right, word, I get it. You know, maybe it's not worth teching for a deck that not many people play. But, you know, like Avery said, if you feel like you're running into it that much, stick in Spiritomb, shut down Rotom, stick in Sandshrew, shut down like Palpads and Silenes and stuff like that. You know, there's the technology to increase your matchup win percentage. It's just a matter of like, do you want to make the effort in using like your tech space in a deck for Snorlax stall? And I think that's the biggest thing playing against decks like this.
Yeah.
Or number 3.
All right, let's go on. Raging Bull. I hate it. I just don't like it.
This list is almost the exact same since I think Ogerpon came out. I've not seen any crazy. I mean, we got Briar now, which is pretty cool. What is Briar? I don't even remember. All right, when I say I haven't played Stellar Crown, I have no idea what's going on in Stellar Crown. What does it do?
If your opponent has 2 prize cards remaining, you can use it, and during your turn, if you take a knockout, you take an extra prize.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, that's correct. All right. There is one big change to Raging Bull. It's Briar. I figured it out now. That is insane.
There we go.
Yeah. It's if they have 2 left, and you're playing a turbo deck with 2 prize cards on everywhere. That's insane. Oh my gosh. Wow. All right. Well, yeah, I can see how this is number 3 in tearing apart tournaments. I haven't fully processed that. I'm like, oh, Raging Bull makes sense. Like, you know, it's a most consistent, strongest aggro deck. It's got the most HP. It's got a lot going for it. In addition, like, Briar is insane to squeeze out that extra prize card when a lot of decks are now running like Dusk Doors and stuff to put you on that odd prize card, that's huge. Like, that's actually awesome. So, I mean, awesome for the deck. I hate it. I'm gonna hate playing against this when I get back into the game more consistently. But, I mean, hey, for Raging Bull players, that is definitely a must-have for sure.
I don't like you guys.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be blunt. I don't like you guys.
And
Manual touch, shut up. Ogerpon, go ahead. Go away.
If you look at like statistics wise, dude, this deck is actually on fire right now. What was Charizard on it? Did we make a little mistake here? Go the wrong way. Low key. We maybe should have put Raging Bull at the 1. I didn't fully process that. Dude, it's got like the same win rate and then higher top 4, top 8. It's just got a lower overall play rate, not even by much. This actually I might claim this as my best deck right now.
I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah. And
one
what,
bit.
430 HP on Charizard? Oh no! The Sada, Ogerpon, manual attach cope. Like, it's fine. Yeah, actually, you know what? I think I like this. I think I like this one as the top deck. Maybe we should have flipped those. That's okay. I mean, we got it on 3 here. You're hearing us now talking. Maybe put this at the 1. This deck's got the spice right now. It could definitely cook a lot of things. Gets torched by Stall. I mean, there is not one switch card, 1 prime catcher. Just saying, Stall is looking mighty fine.
I like playing Stall against those people.
Yeah.
Because they just got to deal with it, and they can't.
Solid Raging Bull deck. Like to see it. Like the addition of Briar. Overall, great place. Happy for you Raging Bull players.
Happy for you guys. All 3,000 of you.
Yeah. Hope I don't play against any of you. Like,
you all went to Baltimore and you stunk up that convention center. That's what you did. I saw. Oh yeah. Also, one thing that we can talk about. I didn't play a single Raging Bull during Baltimore.
Oh, you
not
didn't
one
either?
No, I didn't play against a single Bolt, Drago V-Star, and I played against 1 Zard, 1 Gardevoir. Everything else was just like Miraidons and item lots.
I didn't play against anything, dude. Like, I played against the same like 3-mana decks. What did I hit? I hit no Raging Bolts. I hit no Ancient Box. I hit 1 Charizard. Yeah, I hit 1 Charizard, 1 Lugia. I had a really weird matchup spread for someone playing an anti-meta deck. It was not really what I wanted to see. So I get it. Yeah, it's real. Number 4. We're kind of flying through today. It's not bad.
It's okay. The Who's That Pokemon's going to take a bit.
I haven't thought about Pokemon cards in a week, dude. I'm going to be so rusty for that one.
All right.
4. All you. While I try to figure out what's different on this list.
All right, Regidrago V-Star. You guys, let's get a round of applause for Legacy Star. Bring back 2 Energy Switch. Manual tap Shoulder Pawn.
No. It might just be 1 and Prime Catcher to use it again. You know, slow down.
My fault, guys. I didn't know your body, right? All right, we all know the deal with Regidrago. Discard your whole deck to get all your dragon attackers in the discard pile.
Yeah.
You manual attach your fire energies to your Dragos, and then you use Ogerpon's ability to get the grasses, and then you always seem to draw the energy switch off the Ogerpon. I'm not saying you're stacking your deck. I'm just saying it's weird.
And, like, just looking at the statistics-wise, it is taking down more tournaments than Raging Bull and Charizard, which I think is amazing. But top 4, top 8, notably lower, which I think could speak to the decks. I think that, like, stuff like that... sorry, trying to change in my seat. I'm kicking a small printer that I hadn't moved I needed for work. Let me just move the paper over here. Hey, Happy. Sorry, she walked over, too. What was I saying? Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah, sorry. It speaks to the decks, like, difficulty of play. I think when you see statistics like this, so if you're just listening along, it's got 7% player, 7.2% play rate, which is fair. That's what most of the top decks are, float around that 5 to, like, 12% play. 16% overall win record. Or percent winning deck in tournaments with 50 or more players. And then it drops to 8.6 for top 4 and 6.8 for top 8. And I think when you see decks like that, it's not saying this deck is like the hardest deck in the world, but it really speaks to like if you get good at Drago and learn your matchups, like Ian Robb. difficult matchups like Snorlax, like Snorlax Stall, become so much easier, and you could just take down so much more of the meta after playing this deck for a significant amount of time and spending a lot of time working on your matchups. So, you know, I think that's definitely something worth keeping in mind if you're looking into playing this deck more, is that right there. Like, spend time working on your bad matchups. I think there are ways around them, clearly, because a lot of amazing players are taking down a lot of tournaments, but it doesn't have that same top 4, top 8 rate, because there's not as many people following up with that same high level of play. So I think that's something interesting to note here, that you could generalize to a lot of decks that have this, like, similar sort of statistic run.
Yeah, it's one of those decks that, like, people look at it performed by, like, really good players, and they're like, wow, this deck looks so easy. It's not.
Yeah. Well, it's not like it's super difficult. It's just
It's
you
not
can
even-
take it
not
to
that either.
such an insane level if you truly learn everything about it.
Sitting there and learning everything about Regidrago is definitely going to take a while.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Oh,
buy
yeah.
one of those classes on Twitter that people are advertising for some reason now. Like,
No, I would consider it. If you're, like, legitimately trying to get into, like, a super high level of competitive play, you know, push worlds and stuff like that, I would look into joining master classes from notable, like, great performers or great content creators that you could see, you know, either they have a great regional performance or more, like, track record, you know, they day 2 a lot, they have amazing results, or a really good content creator who you watch play a lot of different decks and you trust their knowledge of the game through videos like that. Like, I don't think they need an outstanding regional performance to be worth joining a meta class. I think, you know, if they're like let's say LDF obviously goes to a lot of regionals. LDF has done amazing, but let's say it's a creator like that you watch and you see his videos and you're like, wow, this guy knows his stuff. Join a meta class, you know, if they're running one for something like that. I think it's worthwhile.
yeah, if you're going to join a masterclass, do it with a deck like this, all right? I'm not going to sit here and be like, I could be entirely wrong, but I feel like joining a masterclass for Zard is just, like, not worth your money. I'm gonna be completely honest. It's one of those decks that, like, I'm not gonna say it's that easy, but, like, if you have, like, an intermediate to, like, advanced knowledge of the game, you can just sort of, like, turn your brain off and play Zard.
Yeah,
if you're really like, but if you want to take it to
much easier to just join, like, a big Discord. You know, like,
True,
join a big
yeah.
streamer Discord, and if you, because I feel like if you're playing a deck like Zard that's that much easier than this, you might just only need 1 or 2 questions answered about a specific matchup, and instead of paying to, like, learn that matchup, you could probably just ask in a Discord, and someone will just say, like, that one play where it's like, oh my god, how did I not think of that? And then that will help Zard a lot. Like, I feel like Zard runs into a lot of similar situations across every matchup, whereas Regidrago, there are totally different ways to play it and build the deck because you could use any dragon Pokemon. So a masterclass in a deck like this, like you said, might be more worthwhile than Charizard for that reason, because the lists can change, the matchups can change so much. That's a really good point.
I mean, yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah, no, that's a good point you made, actually, about Charizard. I don't know if I would recommend joining a masterclass either.
No, I think that it's
Straightforward enough.
yeah, it's. Yeah, I mean, like, I can't really. I don't know what to say. My brain is, like, blanking. There's
Same
not really
thing
much
with
more
Raging
you need.
Bull. The only masterclass tip you need is if the Pokemon would have more HP left, you should have more energy in play. That's it. Like,
just Ogerpon more.
yeah. Oh, you should have sodded before you attacked. Like, I don't know what else. What other?
You see the
tips I
blue
would give.
border around your Professor Sada? You should have taken note of that.
Yeah. So that's a good point with decks like this. I think decks like this are definitely worth joining a master class for if that's something you're into.
Yeah, and if you see somebody playing, like, a deck like Raging Bolt or Zard at your locals, you can just ask them. I'm sure that they're, like,
yes.
at least good enough, you know?
Yeah, or
If
have
you're going
some
to a locals,
knowledge
yeah.
bringing shit. Yeah, whoopsies.
Just ask your opponent if they're playing a deck you're looking into playing. Just, like, talk to them. I'm sure that, like, after you get cooked by a Sada Ogerpon 4 times, there's gonna be, like, a 30 minutes of the match timer that you can talk about it.
Or not talk about it because you don't ever want to think about that deck again. In which case, like, I understand.
Like, if I was a disgusting Bolt player and I beat you in, like, 5 minutes, right, and you just pack your bag and walk away, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm gonna feel maybe because they don't have empathy. You know what I mean? they're gonna sit there and think like, yeah, I just beat that kid. I would be so devastated if I did that. I felt bad winning against some guy at regionals because it was his in and out game as well as mine, and I felt terrible winning. Like the moment he was talking about like how his kids made his deck for him and stuff like that, I'm like, yo, do I really want to send this guy home?
No. Plays throughout the match. I actually don't care. Go home. Tell your kids it didn't work.
He's like, well, I don't want to lie to my kids if the deck doesn't work out. I'm like, no, don't do this to me because now I'm in because I have emotions unlike both players. All right, now I'm in a different situation. Now I'm hurt.
How are you feeling for number 5? We good on Drago?
Let's move on. Okay. If I stare at that card one more time, I might actually have my blood vessels. Dragapult!
This is the deck I think changed the
persistent.
most. Love it. Love it. Oh my god, it's so good. Yes.
You guys are awesome, alright? I love Dragapult. I don't like playing against it because the good Dragapult players will move those damage counters in the best ways. It's awesome.
I don't mean you guys are awesome, Jose. I mean you. You're awesome. This is for you.
Exactly.
Anyway, sorry. Go on, Avery.
No, you're completely fine. And with the a lot of people don't like Radiant Alakazam. I don't know why you guys are sleeping. It's not discard energy to draw 2.
I don't see anything wrong with Radiant Charizard. You just double down on a great single prizer that could be an attacker if you don't have an ability to set up a Dusknoir. Like, let's say it's a mirror match, it might be very hard for you to get that Duskull out. But now if you could swing it with Radiant Zard into Rotom or something like that, that could be huge. So, I don't think either Radiant is necessarily bad.
No, I think they're all good.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is that I like the idea of moving damage around more, because there are ways that you can set up for a sneaky bench KO just with an ability.
Or you could just move a damage counter on the Pheasantipity Boss KO, which is in every deck. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, unless you have something to add, I'm good.
I was going to say, Crispin
like
and Sparkling Crystal are, exactly what this deck needed. I think Briar, as we mentioned before, amazing in a deck, especially when you got access to Dusknoir and the option of Radiant Alakazam or Radiant Charizard as attackers, because both of them could do good damage. Even Radiant Alakazam could actually hit really hard in the right scenarios. But I think so yeah, Briar's great. Crispin was exactly what this deck needed to get an A spec that was not Neo Upper energy and take this deck to a new level. Because Neo Upper was great. It made it so if you didn't have Xatu in play or you didn't have a way to get 2 energy down immediately, you could just attach swing and you were golden. Sparkling Crystal does the same thing because you only need 1 energy, so it's effectively the same concept. However, Crispin is doubling down on that. So now there's less of a need for that energy acceleration engine, which you see is perfect in Charizard. This deck doesn't need that. There's no Xatu, there's no EXP shares, there's nothing like that. You just got Sparkling Crystal and Crispin to make sure that each turn you're just attach swinging in a way. So yeah.
It's just a really good deck. I'm so happy that you guys, because Dragapult was I'm not gonna say it was falling off, but I saw so much less of it.
Yeah,
I saw so much less of it.
It fell off, and I think that's because people saw if I'm playing Dragapult, I might as well just play Charizard. It's the same vibe. I'm just more consistent. But now, with Crispin and Sparkling Crystal, it's okay, this deck is back and it's doing great, and I love it. I'm very happy for the performance of this deck and the resurgence of it.
See, listen. This is just between the two of us and the people listening. The only reason I like this deck coming back is because it's not a turbo aggressive Oko deck. That's my reason.
That's fair.
You guys do 200. I'm cool with that. I'm surviving. Guess what? Hold this 6 energy I found.
I think in the mid game they have such easy abilities to take 3 prize cards a turn, or 4, which is disgusting. And that might be, I might change my opinion on this after playing against it more. But for now, it's I'm happy Dragapult's back. I think it deserves a bit more time in the spotlight because it didn't have as much time as I think people originally hoped. And I think now it's there. Now it is finally there.
I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah.
It's nice to see you guys come back.
Oh, yeah. On to 6.
Yep.
Let's do it. Oh, you. I don't want to say a word.
Oh, I was gonna pass that on to you.
All right, fine, I'll do it. Gardevoir, you're yucky. I don't like you. You smell. You're mean. You hurt my feelings all the time. Sorry, I'm like moving my printer again. I forgot I put my printer like under my desk. So I'm like moving my feet around and I kick something like yeah, it's Gardevoir. I love Secret Box in it. I think Secret Box over Hyper Aroma is so much fun. You and me both have been the biggest fans of Secret Box since way before it was cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I will die on that hill. I don't care how lame it is to say that. You and me were there before it was cool. But it's more or less the same Guardy list at this glance than that we've been seeing for a while. I think at least this one specifically and a couple others I saw are opting to play one Monkey Dory and one Dark Energy, which is a little different. Because normally decks are playing like 2 Dark, 2 Monkey Dory because Monkey Dory is amazing. And I guess Pheasantipity, not every list I've seen plays. But in general, I think since you're playing one Monkey Dory, now you have more space for other consistency cards like Pheasantipity, like an extra Turo for, maybe more popular stall matchups. That, Pokemon League headquarters is huge. I think those 2 cuts, open up the deck to have more consistency cards, which I think is kind of what Gardevoir needed to get back on track. And even still, I don't think it's totally where the Guardy stands want it to be. Like, its statistical win rate is nothing insane. Pretty much just over 5% for winning, play rate, and top 4. And then it's at 6.8% for top 8, which I feel like just makes sense in a predominantly best of 1 online match. I feel like online Guardy is like, in best of 1s, it kind of thrives anyways. So I think its stats are a little bit more boosted in stuff like online tourneys because of that. But it's doing well again. I think it fell off before Baltimore. We're kind of back. I don't think Stellar Crown added anything to the deck list. I think just the change of the meta has helped it spread a little bit more, which has created more of that opening to take the number 6 spot.
I mean, you did a perfect analysis. Now I'm gonna flame them. Listen, you guys, I already didn't like any of you. I'm gonna be complete. I didn't like any of you.
Sorry.
You guys are like crazy. The Patriots fans of the Pokemon, right? You guys get your win, and then you go to school the next day dressed in all your gear. You do the face paint. You do all that. That's how you guys are. The moment I saw Guardy win Baltimore, I was like, yo, I'm not going to hear the end of this from you guys. I'm just not. I'm going to open up Twitter. I'm going to see at least one tweet about Guardy with every time I refresh the page. Real. You got it, all right? You got your win. You got it, all right? Now, can you calm down? Can you guys finally admit that, your deck is not the best deck in the world? Please, I'm begging you guys, please.
I still don't even think it's the best deck in the world. I think there's just some Guardy stands that refuse to let this deck die and will always make sure it's doing amazing. I don't think it's necessary. If I were to pick any meta deck, Guardy would never touch. I will never play Guardy to a tournament where I'm playing more than 3 rounds. I don't care enough. I'm not a huge Guardy fan. It's just, there's so much that goes into it when you can play a deck that's much easier with better win rates and better matchup spreads, and yeah.
The only Guardy players that are playing it now are the ones who were playing it before. No one new is really picking up Guardy. I mean, congratulations, you guys found out Secret Box was a good card. I'm so proud of you. Pats on backs. That's what you guys needed. All right.
Yeah.
Now, can you guys just move away from the table now? I'm about to pull out 2 deodorant sticks from my pockets and start airing this bitch out. I'm gonna start airing it.
Axe bomb and just.
That's so real. You walk in the locker room, it's just nothing but cool mint breeze. Just what even is that?
It's so real. So, yeah, Guardy. Anyways, number 6. Moving on. Yep. I don't want to talk about it more.
Miraidon! I played against 2 of you guys in regionals, back-to-back. Awesome. And I started Palkia both games.
I got dumped because I did not get an S-ball.
I sat there, I drew my card, I'm like, okay, I have 2 energy, I have a Turo in hand, I got a Pokestop, awesome, I play Pokestop, guess I play it. Oh, there goes Irido, Vulpix V-Star, what's next? Thanks for the switch for my non-bench Pokemon.
Real.
I blink and I pass, I blink, and their bench is full, and they hit both generators, and that Miraidon is looking very, very angry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean...
You guys are awesome Turbo deck. I respect you guys for playing it because the amount of times that Miraidon bricks, you are persistent people.
This is the gambler's choice, and I love it. And
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
always be here for it. I think of all the turbo decks, I probably have the most fun playing Miraidon. I don't necessarily think it's the best turbo deck. I think, like, Raging Bolt still takes the cake. But if I had to, like, if someone was like, you have to play a turbo deck to, like, a regional, and, like, I was like, I actually listened to them, I'd probably consider Miraidon the most because I do enjoy it. Like, I think it's the most fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the generators. It's just like, if I whiff this generator, I'm gonna lose this best of 3. But then it's like, then you hit 4, and then the next game it's like, well, I think I'll be alright if I whiff this generator. Then you whiff the next 3 generators that were all in your hand off a goated squad. And you're like, what just happened? And it's like, you know, I love
I'm in shambles.
Yeah, I love this deck. This deck has so many emotional ups and downs, no matter what your matchup is. And sure, there's some bad matchups, but I think, like, if you're a diehard Miraidon player, like, there is the technology to get around certain decks. Like, you know, if Stall's doing good, that tells you there's not many switch cards in the format. And if that's the case, and there's beefy Charizards, you could just run, like, the Tapu Koko EX and paralyze your opponent. And I think that could help out, like, exponentially. Against those, like, bigger decks like Charizard, maybe Dragapult. I actually want to experiment a bit more with Miraidon. Maybe I'll do a video on it in the future, because I think it's a fun deck and it's definitely worth giving a shout out to right now. And it is in our number 7 spot with a pretty respectable. I mean, same thing as Guardy. It's got 5 and 4% and, like, winning through top 8. And a 4.3% overall, but I think that's fine for Miraidon. Like, it doesn't have the popularity, I feel like, to get higher than that.
Happy for you guys.
Yeah.
You guys got a great deck. It's fun. It's consistent. Generator's not consistent, but everything else is perfectly fine.
And Aaron, I know you're not watching this, but if you are, maybe play the game. Your deck is doing fine. I don't know.
Stop coping, please. Like, you statistically, they didn't lose a game at the regional until, like, game 8. Like, you just play the game.
Yeah,
it's
you're
not
right. No, we did tie 14 times.
Yo, to any Miraidon fans that are watching and listening, can you explain to me how you tie with Miraidon? Not like once or twice, but how many ties? Like 3 or 4?
I think Aaron had 4 ties. 9 matches, all best of 3s. He tied 4, like, lost 1, won 2, or something, like, whatever the math comes out to be. He lost, like, 1 or 2 matches, but he tied, like, 4 or 5 games. It's ridiculous.
Like, Turbo Dex tying is, like, something I never thought would leave my mouth, but, like, you guys, I don't know how you do it.
Or, not you, just Aaron. I don't know how Aaron managed to do it. So if you could explain why that might be more common than we think, please let us know, because that was ridiculous.
I'm going to be reading the comments.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want an answer. If I don't get an answer within a week, then, like, I'm coming for you guys.
We're throwing hands. We're throwing iron hands, actually.
Absolutely.
That was a good
We're throwing it on the bench.
I'm proud of that pun. Moving on. So, we didn't make top rogue decks because, it's Sandshrew behind the face cam. Because, well, neither of us have played in 3 weeks. I haven't really made many videos because I've been doing a lot of work, so I guess I could have put, like, Hydrapple there because I played it, although I really don't know how good it actually is right now. I just did good in the video. So we didn't want to lie and say these are, like, the top rogue decks and have absolutely no basis for saying so. Like, I feel like that's just, like, pointless lying, and that's not necessary. So if you want to talk about rogue decks, join the Discord. Let me know in the comments. You know, reach out to me. Do whatever you need to do to reach out to me and ask about your rogue deck, or a rogue deck you're thinking of, or one I've played in the past and the thought of bringing it back now. Like, I'd love to talk about it. I just don't think we have the right foundation to say these are, like, the best rogue decks right now. So yeah, that's why we're going to top 10 cards.
Pokemon League headquarters.
Cards? Yeah, this is all you.
I can talk about a couple.
Yeah, go for it.
So, attacks used by each basic Pokemon to play cost normal energy more. This is great against decks like, what are we talking about? Raging Bolt. Raging Bolt, like, this just hurts a little bit because, like, they're going to have the manual attached and then Sada, and they're going to have to find a way to get that other energy.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how many Raging Bolt decks play Energy Switch. I don't think, do they?
They play a lot of Stadium Bump. They don't play Energy Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, bumping the Stadium is definitely going to be a top priority for them, but if they can't find the Stadium Bump, then, like, they're going to be in a tough spot because that's a deck, that's, like, one of those 2-4-6 decks.
Yeah.
That I enjoy playing. Like, if I was told, like, if Chien-Pao didn't have Excalibur, like, imagine telling them, all right, you have the 2 energy, the second one was already manually attached, find another one. Like, we're in shambles, all right? We need Baxcalibur to exist as a species of players, all right? Not all of us have the Palkia on the bench to Star Portal. I've had to use Star Portal because of this card. I've had to use it as a result of that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's annoying enough to where it's like, all right, now I got to deal with this, but it's not enough to where it's like a busted card. That's like,
no,
you know what I
think
mean?
It's a perfect tech card for that exact reason. It's not mandatory in every list, but I think it affects enough matchups for the person playing it to see a slightly higher chance of winning against maybe some rougher decks, or not even necessarily slightly. Like, there might be some matchups where it's like, this could really, really help. And I think, like, when you look at a card like that has that type of effect, hey, playing 1 or 2 copies of it, if you really don't care for a certain stadium, like, I think that's great. And I think that kind of speaks to the value of this card and how well it could do in a whole bunch of different decks. So, yeah, I mean, I think everything you said about it was amazing.
Canceling Cologne, if you guys aren't playing this card, then, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't want to see a single person post their 60, complain about stall, ogre pawns, or anything like that, and not have Canceling Cologne in there. It is literally a card that you have to play if you're expecting those matchups.
Like, I don't think I'd played in my 60, but those matchups are not super high play rates right now, so I think I would use my tech on something like Pokemon Leading Headquarters over Canceling Cologne, but that's a choice I'm willing to make, accepting that if I run into Iron Thorns or I run into, like, stall and I can't retreat now, you know, like, that's something I'm willing to just accept, and I know that going into it, but that's because, like, that's what tech cards are. It's like, okay, there's, like, 15 different decks. I want a tech for all of them. I can't. What's the priority? Maybe Quad Thorns is not the priority right now, so that's a decision I'll make, but I know that it's like, all right, I ran into 3 of them, boom, Canceling Colone's got to come back. You know, I ran into 3 of them in, like, 10 matches, because that's a lot then. If I run into 3 in 100 matches, hey, yeah, you know what, that's not really worth playing Canceling Cologne for them. So, you know, it's things to keep in mind like that. Like, you know, that's... If you want to complain about Thorns, play this. If you don't care and you or just hope you don't match it, that's fine. Don't then.
And also, like, at least for my build of my Champel list, I play a lot of bench destroy. I play Wellspring Mask, Ogrepon, Kyogre, and Radiant Greninja. And because Wellspring Mask is a Terra Pokemon, I play things like Area Zero. I play the Knocked Owl line in the list too, which is awesome. And if I see that Manaphy on the bench, that's going to block me from getting like 2 big KOs, 3 prizes, 4 with Briar. I'm going to Knocked Owl for Boss and Canceling Cologne. I'm going to tell you, find a way around it next turn. And it works. If you are playing a Terra type deck and you are upset about like things like Manaphy, Mimikyu, things like that, if you don't have the Boss Canceling Cologne combo ready, please do that, because like it's going to save you way more than you want to believe it's going to save you. It's a combo. It's something that's like you pull out of your deck and your opponent's like, okay, well, now I need to figure it out because that was like my resource I was going to save myself. And if you're going against Stage 2 evolving decks, they love their Manaphies. They love their bench block. And that's a good way to deal with it. Taking out like 2 Charmander with Greninja, you don't even have to take out the Manaphy, really. If you just take out like 2 Charmeleons or like 2 Pidgeotos or like whatever, they're going to be left in shambles, even Pidgeys. Like, Charizard relies a lot on Pidgeot.
Yeah.
Like, if they can't always get the card that they need every single turn, they're not in the best spot ever. And if you're playing a lot of decks that have that Oko potential, Zard is going to fold to you if you take out their Charmeleons, because like, or Charmanders. They play recovery, but it's not enough to where if you keep sniping their bench, that they're going to be able to come back from that. And I feel like that's something a lot of people need to realize with these Stage 2 decks. Just see if you can find a way to get bench snipe in your deck. If there's a card that you can throw in that can attack the bench, please try it out. Like, that's one of your best ways to deal with these big, bulky Stage 2s. Stop them where they start.
There was not a thing that needed to be added to that. That was amazing. You know, I think that proves that Canceling Cologne is not just defensive, which is what we talked about for Quad Thorns, but if you learn how to use it offensively, especially in a deck like your Chiempao list, well, now this card is maybe real, like it's a necessity. You know, it goes from like, oh, do I play this or Headquarters? If you have a way to abuse this thing offensively, this has to be a card in your deck, you know, because now it's like, okay, if I deal with Quad Thorns, I've got it out. But also in every other matchup, this could help me take out some of their big attackers before they're ready to get going. And I think that's awesome for this type of card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're good to move on to Pheasantipity. I think we all know what this does.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bunch of the, like, with the exception of Academy at Night, the rest of these cards I feel like just makes sense why they're text. So I'll leave Pheasantipity and Academy at Night for now. But if you look at Iron Moth, it prevents ancient Pokemon from attacking. Noivern prevents basics. Mimikyus prevent Pokemon EX and V. Neutralization Zone prevents anything like with the rule box. So like Radiance on top of that. And Ogerpon prevents anything with abilities. Like all of those cards. Oh, and Sandshrew is like against like stall and stuff like that. You know, prevents trainers from your discard going back into the deck, which could help you in like stall and control matchups. But pretty much all of those are just, hey, your deck only uses basic Pokemon, cope. Your deck only has ancient Pokemon, cope. You know, it's just a lot of like cope type cards. So I didn't think each one needs its own like analysis really. If you're building a control deck, you could probably squeeze all of them in. Maybe not Iron Moth, but the rest of them. And just be absolutely fine. I think Iron Moth is really only relevant if you're looking into Sablezard. But yeah, like, I think they're amazing cards. If you haven't seen the last episode of the podcast, it was just me talking about my Baltimore performance and the deck I played, which was pretty much just Arceus Control with Noivern and Cornerstone Ogerpon for that exact reason. I was just abusing what so many decks in the format relied on, which is abilities and basic Pokemon. And I just said, hey, cool, I'm gonna see this as a common thing and just abuse them for doing it. And that's kind of what every one of those cards does right there. Now, like you said, Pheasantipity, it's a tech card. It's one pretty much every deck plays because it helps with consistency, and drawing 3 cards is kind of nice in the middle of your turn after an Iono, after you get Iono'd. So it makes sense. A deep dive I don't think is necessary for how often Pheasantipity is played. If you're very confused on why it's worthwhile, put it in your deck, play 4 games, and you'll understand. You'll just naturally figure it out when you use the card. It's amazing.
Yep. Oh no, I got Iono to 1. I mean 4. Awesome.
And on the same
now
flip, that's why Academy at Night is nice. Oh no, you got Iono to 2. Well, good thing when you played Academy at Night, you put that perfect research or whatever you wanted to not lose on top of your deck, to just draw into it and move on. So Academy at Night might be a more defensive tech card in the sense where it's like, if you're that scared of Iono, or you're playing Miraidon and want an extra energy on top of your deck, or some other deck that uses a gimmick like that, Academy at Night I think is perfect and can really help consistency for a lot of decks that don't realize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That deck can let you hit like 2 energy off your generator consistently.
Yes, yeah. Or if you're playing like Zork or something crazy like you and me, like to float back to that deck. It's like, oh, I don't want to research away like 2 of my 4 double turbo energies. Well, if you play Academy at Night for some odd reason, I mean, I guess Gate Drop Bog would be better, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, you don't want to lose a certain resource. Just put it on top and then research. Like, you're fine. Maybe Regidrago might find more use to that. You don't want to, or you want to Legacy Star something away. I don't know why you wouldn't just use it then, but you get what I mean. You know, it's like, you play a lot of research. You play a lot of Carmine, like Lugia. That's another deck that might be able to get use out of Academy at Night along with Regidrago because they play that high research count. I think any deck with high research or high Carmine could find value out of Academy at Night in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself.
Thanks. So, good on tech cards?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Let's do it. Alright, so who's that Pokemon? I have not looked at Pokemon cards in so long. Avery picked the card for me, so and he said he was feeling evil before he started the podcast, so I'm not gonna guess it, and I'm okay with that. Normally I'd be more upset. I think today I'm just gonna accept defeat before I've seen a glimpse of this. and you know, just I mean, I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna try my hardest, but like, yo, my brain is fried today. So Avery, if you don't mind, I'm gonna click and alright, it didn't work perfectly. I think the transitions went away, so I'm just gonna go out, be a little ratchet while we do this. Just delete this slideshow. Alright. Alright. So we can all see we got a little green dot. It's giving I. It's also giving EX. Is it I'll use my first question. Is it an EX card?
It's not an EX card.
Oh no. Oh. This is bad news bears. Oh my gosh. Okay, is it from the Scarlet Violet era of cards?
Actually looking that up right now.
No, that's take your time, yeah. You know, like Scarlet Violet Sword Shield. Like, is it one? Because it's standard, right? Like, I think that was one of the rules. So
Yeah.
It's gotta be standard. Oh, we didn't talk about the rules. So we're not going to watch another episode of the podcast and you'll understand the rules because this is like episode like 8 or 9 at this point. Yeah, watch more podcasts. I love this podcast.
Can this
So
thing just give me a set?
does it have a silver border or a yellow border? That'll tell you.
I can't say that because that'll give it away.
No, like a silver border, like, is it scarlet? Like, that's what it pretty much means, you know, because in Sword and Shield, all of the cards had that yellow border around them. Here, like, do I have a deck near me? Yeah, I do. This.
Okay, it was Sword and Shield.
It was. So it's got the yellow border, like this has the silver border, the Devolution, but then if you look at, like, Comfy, it's got the yellow border. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
So it's Sword Shield. Okay. Oh my god, wait, what? Dude, I thought for sure this was an EX in Scarlet Violet. That's insane. I'm so cooked. Alright, so it's a non-EX card, which makes sense because it's from Sword and Shield. Oh my god. Have I played this card in a deck before that you've seen? Whether it's a video, a local, just on Discord, like, you know what I mean? Like something like that.
That I've seen? No.
That you've seen? No. Okay. All right. I can work with that. That actually helps a bit. Is it an evolution Pokemon card?
No.
Okay, so it's not Duosion or whatever that mess is. You know, the green jelly blob. That's kind of where my head was.
It's not that.
Yeah. Well, no. That wasn't a guess or a question. I'm sorry. That was like me taking it out because I was thinking that, which is why I asked if it was an evolution, but it's not. So it's a basic Pokemon, which, oh my god, that's 4 questions I've used. EX, Scarlet Violet, evolution. Was that my 3rd question?
Yeah, that was your 3rd.
Okay, so I got 2 more. Oh my god. Is this card a trainer gallery card?
No, it is not.
No, it's not. Oh my god, what? This is in the middle of a regular card?
Yeah.
No. One more question. Dude, what? Is this the Pokemon's eyeball?
It's an eye on the card.
That black dot's an eye? Oh my god. Oh, is it, oh my god, is it some version, what's it, Swallet? Or something like that?
I'm gonna let you sit on that and make
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's Alolan Executor. That's the thing on it.
Damn it!
Actually, we have to go. Yes. Yes. I was like, what else has a green face? No, it's not Swallet. The lines on the side made me think it wasn't Swallet. I'm like, what would be moving or swinging? And I'm like, Alolan Executor's big tail would be swinging. Oh my god, dude. Wow. You know what's insane? I have played this in a deck to a locals tournament.
That makes sense. Now I get it.
That's where I got the movement from, was those little 2 wisps on like the left side. I'm like, that Swallet would never be moving in a Pokemon card. That is the most sitting here eating the environment around it. But this thing had to be moving, which is why I was thinking an eyeball, it's flying or something like that. Like, I was thinking almost like a Roaring Moon eyeball type of thing. I don't know if it's green, but you know what I mean? Something like that. Where it's like a dragon's head, like a small eye that's kind of flying or moving. But no, that's insane. I'm shocked I got this one, actually.
That is very impressive.
I play this game too much. This might be the rustiest you'll ever catch me.
I'll have to try harder next time.
Yeah, no, this wasn't enough. That's so good. Oh my god, look at that little thing. It's the left side. Oh, it's if you can't tell which part of the card it is, it's this right in here. And then that little... Oh, that was the other thing that made me think not Swallet, which I didn't say yet, was the little... You could see it's like lip almost in the top right. That's why I was like, it could be Swallet, but that part of it in my brain was like, no, it's not. Let me look up Swallet. Is that even like close to... I think that's the Pokemon I'm thinking of. Oh, no, it's not. It's Gulpin is the first evolution. So Swallet's the purple one. This is... Oh my god. Wow. All right, yeah, I play Pokemon too much. Look at this. Here, I'll put it in the Discord for you, Avery. This is the other image that was going on in my brain.
Absolutely, I was like, that's gonna get him.
Yeah, no, that
it has to.
Do you know which Pokemon I'm talking about with Gulpin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that thing. Specifically, a face like this was where I was coming
from. That creature.
Yeah. But that thing would not be moving. That's why I was like, oh, the moving
No,
ones.
It doesn't even have ways to move.
No. No, not at all. Oh, speaking of not moving, guess who's returned? The slug outside my front door from the regional. He's still trying to catch up with me. He's on the doormat now. 2 weeks ago, we saw a slug, and we were making jokes about the slug that's slowly chasing you to, like, touch you and kill you. And it's homie's still chugging along. He's on the doormat now. He's made it about 1.5 feet.
The best part is, when we came back, it wasn't there and there was a frog, and we were just like
evolved.
Yeah, bro evolved.
Well, I could just move on to the yapping session now, because that's what pretty much however long we want to yap for is. But yeah, no, bro fully evolved into a whole frog by the end of Baltimore Regional Day 1.
All right, chatters. Now this is where I'm going to bring up a little conspiracy brain type thing with TCG Live.
Shameless plug first.
Absolutely.
So we've got a TCG player logo here. If you haven't seen my other videos, 1, what's wrong with you? 2, it's important you know this now. I am now an affiliate of TCG Player, so that's epic. I have a link. So what you have to do to use my link, sadly, it doesn't get you a discount yet. I'm not popular enough for that. So tell your friends, let's get me there. So you guys start getting a link or a discount off my link. But what's cool about it is if you use my link and just order cards as normal, it takes you to TCG Player. You don't have to do another thing except literally click on my link and order cards within 2 days, and you'll be helping support the channel, which would be a massive help for myself, because that in turn would pretty much get me more cards to play, and if I have more cards to play, then I've got more decks to make videos on, and past that, if I get more support on the channel, I can use it to order more cards and do raffles for, like channel members or my Discord server or things like that. So just in general, like, I'm going to use pretty much anything I get off this affiliate link to help support the channel in one way or another. So please, if you want to support in the smallest way possible, if you're watching this, I know you order cards anyways and you're into playing the game or want to get into playing the game, especially if you made it this far. So you might as well click on my link, because you're gonna order cards regardless and support me a little bit. That would be awesome. So thank you so much. Anyways, Avery, all you.
Okay, so chat, here's my thing, right? I don't think TCG Live is completely as random as we think it is. Now, hear me out, right? This is where I point to the wall with like a bunch of pictures and thumbtacks and stuff like that. I'm genuinely under the belief that when the game is picking who you're going to play against, it takes your deck into a account and a factor to match you up with an opponent. Because I have... You've seen my piles, my Darkrai V-Star pile, my Clay Doll pile.
Yeah.
When I play those decks, I don't play against anything meta. I play against other people's piles. It's more so like the casual experience where the game's like probably thinking to itself, this doesn't have like enough say or like, enough cards. Because I would honestly believe that like they assign points to each card and like figure it out that way.
Yeah,
as far as like, this card appears in the top 7, let's add a point to it or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it'll take that into account and match you with someone like a hidden MMR type thing. If you guys know what I'm talking about with that.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. I didn't think about it like that. By basing it off the cards in your deck, not specifically the overall deck you're playing. That makes a lot of sense.
Like, you might get like 15 points for your trainers, but like if your actual Pokemon haven't been seen in like a top 20 deck, and like
worth. So yeah, it's 15 points for the trainers and the Pheasantipity you play, but it's if you're playing Charizard, you're going to be racking up much more points than if you're playing like Gyarados EX.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Sometimes you'll get if you're playing a meta deck, you might get a match.
Wait, hold up.
Instantly.
Boom, we're live.
Okay, but like,
Sorry, our friend joined, and then we just reset. That was all there was a pause for.
yep. If you notice, like, if you play a deck like some of the best Lugia, or not, I'm not gonna say best Lugia. Yo, we're not gonna get into that. That just appeared in my mind for a second. I'm like,
Lugia's
that's
trash
not a good example.
now.
That's not a good. Like, if you're playing a Raging Bolt that's like straight from a Baltimore list or something like that, you might get matched almost instantly with another player that's like playing a top tier deck. But if you're doing a pile, it's gonna probably take a few seconds to match you with somebody. And this isn't like oh, you're just a low rank on the ladder thing, because like you could be like 0 points on the ladder. You could still be going against people who have blinged out Lugia decks, blinged out Raging Bolt decks. Like
Jose.
the ranking, yeah,
With his blink
exactly. People like playing their awesome Dragapult builds and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's more so like a rank and like visible MMR issue. I think that there's something deeper going on, and that might, now this might be reaching a little bit, but that might also factor into like your top decks and stuff like that. Because a video game is a lot more easy to randomize than like your average IRL game. Because like an IRL game, your opponent shuffles your deck. Yeah. It's 100% like on the shuffling.
And also the matchmaking is solely based off record at that point. So it's like if a pile is 3-0, a pile is 3-0. You've got the exact same chance of matching against that 3-0 pile if you're 3-0 as a Charizard that's 3-0 or a Raging Bull that's 3-0. Yeah, no, that's a really good way to put it. And then also, if you look at online tournaments, it follows the same type of style as real life tournaments. So like in that, you'll play a much more accurate representation of the meta. So if you've got a pile and you want to spend more time learning like meta matchups, you're going to have to take it to online tournaments, which is scary because it's a tournament and it's like, oh, now there's pressure. But I think that's the only way to consistently not match with Zardanine when you're playing, you know, your whatever deck.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. Yo, you guys are champs for still trying to make that work. You guys
Should I try it? Should I try to make a Zardanine?
I feel like that'd be a funny video because that hasn't been a thing since Zard dropped. Like, that would be a great video, actually.
Or just make an Arcanine deck. I feel like if I made any Arcanine deck that had some competitive potential, people would be on it. Just as for the memes. Yeah, I should try. That's a fun idea.
That's worth it. Yeah. But, like, yeah, I could be completely... Like, I might this weekend, or like, tomorrow's Friday, right? So I might do, like, a tournament with my Claydol pile and just see how that goes. That would be kind of fun.
So much fun.
But over the weekend, I might like do like 10 test matches with like a rogue deck, a pile, and like a meta deck, and just see what the matchups are. Because I feel like
10 might not be enough though.
It's not enough of a sample size. Absolutely.
And I think what makes it hard is the hidden MMR. What is it? Oh my gosh, brain's fried.
Yeah, it's like
hidden MMR.
Hidden MMR.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think like you could just say, okay, I'll just load into 100 games and test this theory. I think if you perform worse, the game would lower the points of it because there's less people playing it and winning. So I think that's how rogue decks could then get popularized on the ladder, is it's more down to you and X other players playing your card. So if you're the only one, for example, playing Claydol, and you lose 10 matches in a row, you're going to play against pile after pile after pile after pile. But if you find yourself on that 2, 3, 4, 5 game win streak, they might be like, all right, maybe this deck, you know, maybe this card has done a lot. You've done a lot of actions with this card that changed the game. Now it was bumped up a point. So you match with decks, you know, at the higher tiers. So I think that's what would make it very hard to test this theory, is you would need like 50 people to sit down and each legitimately play through like 50 games with rogue decks and meta decks in their entirety to test this.
Oh yeah, it would definitely take a lot of testing, but
it makes so much sense. It explains
yeah, I think that
much.
Might be a thing. Yeah,
I agree. I totally agree. Across all ranks too, because if you look at like you, me, Jose, like like Baltimore, when we all were testing, I was in Arceus tier. You were in Ultra Ball tier, right? Or Master Ball tier, but like the
Master.
Were you in the low or high end of it?
I was in the middle.
The middle. Yeah, Rich was on the low end of Master tier. Aaron was in Great Ball tier, and Jose was in Pokeball tier. Yet Jose would get a lot more meta matchups than me, playing my random Arceus pile. Because Arceus probably had no points associated, or little amount of points associated with it. You know what I mean? So I would run into a lot more uncommon matchups that I wouldn't expect to really see in a popular tournament. So that makes a lot of sense. Whereas Jose playing Dragapult was playing kind of what I expected to see more of, you know?
Yeah. But definitely, if you guys are listening to that, post in the comments. Let us know, because like that's an interesting theory. That'd be a really fun thing.
Join our Discord and say you want to get that type of research going, and we'd love to figure it out with you.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah.
But aside from that, I think that making TCG Pocket was like such a. I'm not gonna say it was a dumb decision, but I feel like when you already have like a quarter of a baked game out for the people who are.
Yeah.
Pokemon's the #1 IP in the world, hands down. Like that's like undebatable. That's just a fact.
Nope.
You cannot give us such a half-baked product like TCG Live and expect to be able to sit there and make a whole new game.
Well, I think
another trading.
It's two different creators. I'll have to sneeze. Oh, excuse me.
There's two different companies doing it, but to greenlight the idea of another TCG game, knowing that yours is going downhill, it just comes off as, yeah, we're doing good no matter what, so we'll just make another idea. And TCG Live doesn't have the monetization that Pocket will have. Pocket's going to have a lot of microtransactions from what I've seen, and TCG Live has 0 microtransactions. You don't need to spend a penny. You can get the premium battle pass just from playing the game for like a week. I didn't feel any qualms of spending all of my crystals on Pokemon Celebrations packs, because I just know that like when the new pass drops in like 2 weeks, I'm just gonna be able to play the game for like maybe do like 5 nights.
Yeah, you loop it, you build more crystals, you buy more celebrations, and then you go back to just rinse repeat every set. I think just from a player's perspective, like, because I think the TCG Pocket is built more for collectors and people like that. I think if that's a thing you wanted to push, you should have pushed the people you gave the rights to make your online client. You should have pushed them to fix their client more. Put on more pressure from them onto them. And then now you could open up an avenue where maybe TCG Live got a major revamp to make it more like collector friendly and kind of push that type of avenue, because that's what it seems like Pocket's primary purpose is to, because you're not playing full card games, you're playing like budget versions with changed rules. And by budget versions I mean like a budget version of the actual card game. Like, it's not the same rule set from what I heard.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. There's a lot of like iffy things going on.
Yeah.
If Pocket plays better and works better than Live, I'm going to be severely disappointed. And like, obviously they're two different companies.
Yeah.
But to have a standard of the I'm not going to say off-brand because that sounds like demeaning, but like the alternative game that's like sort of the same thing, doing better than like your main game where like you make so much money off of, you do so much monetization and stuff like that. That doesn't look good for you guys at all. It just doesn't.
You're trying to word this is if the collector's version of the game has a better playable experience than the actual game made for players, there is a problem. All right, if the art is better and the graphics are better, it's for collectors. I would expect as much. But if they have a smoother experience playing the rip-off version of the official card game than the actual game built to do that, now we got a huge problem. I think that's like more or less the point you're getting at here is that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not a rip-off, it's just the collector's version versus the player's version. One should be prettier, and one should be more playable. And right now, we're dealing with... I mean, I don't think TCG Live is ugly, but I'm just saying, like, TCG Pocket might just be prettier because it's built for that. That being said, TCG Live should be functionally better. And we've been, like, people as a whole have been complaining for years that it's not. There's so many bugs and so many fixes. And again, bugs come up in every video game. But the amount and severity of the bugs in TCG Live is awful.
Yeah, and you would think that like something as simple as a card game, like it probably is very difficult to code because you have to do interactions and stuff like that, yada yada yada. I'm not a programmer.
But the basis was there for it in TCGO. Like
different. I was gonna segue into that. TCGO was a fine experience. There wasn't no prizing 6 energy. There wasn't top decking nothing. TCGO was fine.
There totally was, but I think the bigger
definitely
thing
was some things like that.
Is the bugs. Like, I think my luck on TCGO is the exact same as TCG Live. I don't think it's honestly changed. I think it's more. I think that gets into, I don't know if you know the psychological theory called the recency effect, because something
you remember
more recently, you remember it more, and it takes a predominant spot. I'm pretty sure you and me still screamed on Discord during TCGO about the same thing. But I think the thing that's different in TCGO is when a new set set dropped, there might have been a small bug here or there, or maybe it's like, okay, yeah, like my tool just is blank when it's in my hand, but then I play it and it's fine and it still functions, so I know my blank card is the new tool that dropped. But then in TCG Live, it's like, oh, Gardevoir's EX ability just doesn't work. United Wings, you want to play that Ditto to attack, breaks the whole game. You're losing all of them. Like, bugs like that were, from what I remember, not present in TCGO. However,
not at all.
We expect them every new set. Or every week, we expect a different one to have been noticed or come up or whatnot. And I think that's the difference with TCGO and TCG Live, is that type of bug right there.
And TCGO just also had a lot going on. TCGO had so much more. Like, TCG Live right now, you're getting Sun and Moon onwards. On TCGO, you could play Heart Gold, Soul Silver era up until modern day.
Tournaments,
yes, you had the ticket tournaments where you could win packs, like 3 random standard, 3 random expanded. Like, cool, yo, I just got a Flashfire pack. Let's rip this open. Maybe I get the secret rare Zard X. You know, have fun.
The most miserable part of TCGO, and I think it was a massive problem, and I know we talked about this all the time, was the trading market. I think that market was trash. It ruined TCGO's market value of cards. Because now you have cards worth their weight in online packs if you went and bought online packs, which I think is not good for a game and someone trying to learn and build new decks and experience it. Like, I could not play any rogue decks. I would not be able to make this channel on that client because of that. But all they needed was an exchange system like we have in TCG Live. I think that is the best thing that has came out of TCG Live, is like, EXs are worth a set amount of credits. It does not matter how good the EX, what EX it is. Maybe the rarity, the art might change that value, but the base card is worth the exact same. I think that's perfect, and I think if you brought a trading market back, that would only better the experience, because now people wouldn't go over that value. So, for example, like if Charizard EX, I think the EXs are worth 600 or something like that. Like, let's say you're buying an EX for 600 credits, and you could use those credits in a market on TCG Live if they added it. No one would sell it more than that, because you could just go on the actual shop and sell it. However, you could sell for 500, which is a discount, and now you get more credits to get more EXs of the ones no one's putting on the market. And I think that would be amazing. Like, that's really, I think, all they needed to do to TCGO.
Just add the crafting system.
Yes,
that's all they needed
exactly.
To do.
Add a crafting
they
system.
Didn't need to go out of their way. And it also just hurts because, like, for me, like, you know this more than anybody, I love my old decks. I love playing X and Y versions of decks. I didn't need to look up a single list to build like 10 of the ones that I really enjoyed playing back in the day. I can't do that anymore because of TCG Live. X and Y pre is still not available. I can search for the card in the search. I can pick it. It just doesn't function. And that's what upsets me, because TCGO had almost everything. Pre-Heart Gold, Soul Silver, like, they didn't really care much about that, because, like, that's a format that a very, very niche audience is playing. It's like the EX era, the gym, like, no one's really playing that as much.
The one we're in now, obviously.
But, like, I would be able to find matches like the snap of a finger for expanded. Like, I would play Sable IV with, like, the Crobat line that threw damage everywhere. I would be swinging for, like, 3,000 damage just for fun. Like, those were the games that I wish I could load up now, but I can't because the cards don't work. I don't know if there's...
There was something else I wanted to say about TCGO. Oh my gosh, what was it? Oh, yeah. I think a perspective that actually not a lot of people have talked about it at all is a business perspective. I think TCGO, hear me out before you yell at me initially, needed to be sunsetted in terms of the insane explosion in popularity in the Pokemon card game since COVID. I think by sunsetting a game and creating a new one from a business perspective, they were able to just... It's like a grand opening of a store. It gets insane popularity when something opens or a new video game drops because it's new and it's amazing and everyone wants to play it. And to match the new popularity in the real-life players, they made a new game. I think all they needed to do was take the exact same coding and just do it again. And I don't know if legally they were able to do that, but I feel like that's all they needed to do. Like from a company standpoint, okay, I can see why they needed to sunset TCGO and just make TCG Live. I'm not saying like that wasn't necessary. It probably was, and I feel like that would be a huge reason as to why. Is the new popularity, like me, I picked it up during COVID. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting here because of that boom as well. But I don't understand how they had such a good client, and they made the perfect fix with the crafting system. How did they mess up literally everything else, I feel like? Like, what was it, the last set? You could attach a Iono to your opponent's Pokemon as a tool.
Yep,
how do you get a bug like that? I don't get it.
Adding a new set, how does that exist? There's no card that you can attach to your opponent's Pokemon except for like Headringer back in Phantom Forces. That was the only thing that you could do that for. How do you do that with Iono? Were you trying to get X and Y cards working and then you threw some code on Iono? I don't get it.
Yeah.
But like the game's probably not in the same like engine. I that's probably the reason why the coding couldn't just be ported over.
Oh, that's such a good point. Yeah, but like, okay, your Pokemon. Hire coders that can do it. Like, just translate it. Like, Google Translate it from one engine to the other. That has to... I don't know much about coding. I know a little bit. I'm sure there is some type of translation between gaming engines like that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I worked in Unity for a little bit, and I still have a couple, like, side projects. I was thinking... Yeah.
Whoa.
But, it's not the worst thing in the world to sit there and be like, okay, so, like, here's how the card functions. We have the code for it. We have the base. Let's just take the bare bones and see if we can translate it over.
An infinite number of team members to do that with?
You have an infinite check if you're Pokemon. They make more money in a single hour than I will make in 10 lifetimes.
That's real. Like, yeah, it's so real.
You can hire a decent team to just bring TCGO's functionality and stuff over. TCGO barely had any bugs. I don't think I remember finding a single bug in TCGO that like lost me a game or even just like thinking about it. Aside from like
bugs, but like stuff you'd expect. Art's being messed up, cards being blank, maybe like in the loading thing your avatar loaded incorrectly. It's like minute bugs that didn't expect or change your player experience of the game. TCG Live, every bug affects your experience of the game. It's insane.
Even their updater doesn't work. It hits 50% and crashes. That hasn't been fixed yet.
That's true.
I'm sorry.
That hasn't happened to me.
Yo, Azul GG just replied to one of my tweets. That's awesome.
Are you serious? Oh,
I'm dead ass.
That's actually so epic. Oh my god.
Let me see which one it was. Oh. I found it.
Fair. Send it in the chat. Yeah, no, so this is a TCG Live rant. Very fair rant. We're actually nearing regular length for the episode. If you want to, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to talk about, anything you want to jump into or whatnot.
I mean, other than like things that, like TCG Live being an issue isn't something that like is a niche thing that people are talking about. Almost everyone, even in the high stakes competitive scene, are talking about how TCG Live is like a mess, right? And it's annoying because like we now have one of the least functioning clients out of all the other TCG clients. Like Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, I think it is, and Magic the Gathering both have clients. Magic's on Steam. You can play it. It functions just fine. Yu-Gi-Oh! Functions just fine. Why is it that when we get the most... Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that the other games aren't as good, because like that's not the comparison I'm trying to make, but like they don't bring in as much as Pokemon does.
No, I think I think Magic used to be the most popular TCG game. I think Pokemon has a legit argument to say it's taking that title as the most popular worldwide, especially worldwide TCG game. Magic, I don't think has the same. I think it has the same popularity, or a comparable popularity is the word I use, in America. I think once you leave the U.S., Pokemon clears in terms of popularity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Folklore. You got a world of people. The entire world will dedicate themselves to making this kind good, and it's not. Like, it's insane.
I want to be able to open up TCG Live, play Expanded, and not sit here and think to myself, this is just going to be miserable for me. What's the point?
Yeah.
I want to play TCG Live and be able to say, oh, are my abilities going to work today?
Yeah.
Like... You guys have you guys had a great idea, and somehow it just missed the mark. And, like, I want it to be good. I want every game to be good. I want companies to be able to have their cake and eat it too. But, like, when you have the least functioning client, it's upsetting when you're the most profitable business. And it's like, you guys it comes off to a lot of consumers as, you guys know you're doing well regardless, so you're just going to feed us the bare minimum that you can do and just move on. Yeah.
Uh-huh. which sucks as a player. That's not a fun feeling.
That's not what we want to feel.
Any consumer trying to enjoy their favorite card game or favorite pastime. Like this probably is one of my favorite hobbies. The only thing that might put above Pokemon as a whole might be this channel. I mean, this channel has become a super big hobby to me. That being said, the channel's built around this client, you know? So it's like, it just kind of falls back onto it. Yeah.
I mean, I like, aside from like other things like how the format's doing and competitive, I don't really care anywhere near as much about that as I care about TCG Live, because like coming home from work or something and seeing that it's on my taskbar for an immediate open.
Me too.
But do I really want to go through, play it, load up through a launcher for 20 minutes, press play, hope that I'm not gonna get hit by some bug? It's like, I want it so bad. They have it in their grasp.
They have us in their grasp. They got it all.
They do.
Yeah.
They could just drop something like a huge update tomorrow, where like it's just TCGO, but like with a new fresh set of paint, and the entire world would start screaming, and jumping, like, and a crafting system. Yeah. Like, in-game tournaments, where are those? It's been 2 years, you guys. There's no excuse anymore.
I mean, look, if they want, maybe there is something with like Limitless where they like online tournaments like that. Like Limitless has gotten insanely more popular because of, I think, that switch as well. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Honestly, Limitless is so easily accessible and easy to use. Like Limitless is such a great website, client, whatever you want to consider it, call it. Maybe you don't bring back in-game tournaments. Bring back the market system. Let's figure out what went wrong in all of our coding every time. You know, like, let's get on changes like that.
I like the idea of Limitless, but I'm going to...
Oh my gosh.
Bless you. Players who want to just... It's like, do people really want to go through that effort to be able to play a tournament? Probably not. I mean, like, I'm gonna be honest, like, when Counter-Strike is still like one of the biggest esports ever.
Oh yeah.
But like, in order to play the base game, it's so riddled with cheaters and stuff like that you have to go out of your way to download a third-party anti-cheat and launcher. And that launcher, is, face it, is the most popular way to play competitively. It's sort of like Limitless in a way. But are people who want to play competitively gonna want to go through all that effort? I'm not gonna say absolutely. The in-game tournaments were more of like a casual thing. But like, it was something small. It's not something that I want them to do like tomorrow. But if it comes in the future, I feel like that's going to be huge for a lot of players.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not a necessity. There are necessities.
Yeah, it's not something we need to do.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, there are.
Exactly like you just described. In-game tournaments are not close to a necessity. They're probably the biggest one, I think. Probably would be the most favored bonus thing that could happen. But before that needs to happen, the difference in code to make the two games functionally playable is the biggest necessity.
I want to load up the game and be able to not have a game-breaking bug, or like I haven't, or the game crash when I try and use an ability, or something like that. It just it must be an entirely new team than the people who worked on TCGO, because like they must have all gotten the boot from Pokemon and they hired a new team. That must have been the only way that this can actually function.
Not even
like, listen, this is unpaid, make us a game, you have 3 days. And then they did it, and then that's when the beta dropped.
And then they never bothered to go back and fix anything. They just said, all right, cool, we'll rock with it. Yeah, that's fair.
I agree with the trade. I feel like a trading system for players would be great now, but then, like, give me something to buy with coins too. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and
you can use coins. You can use any type of currency.
Use coins to buy coins to buy cards would be so good, because I have like 20,000 coins that are sitting there doing nothing. I'm not spending 300 on a deck box.
You know, like, if you want the 3 different coins, like in-game currencies, if coins you want to leave as everyone has hundreds of thousands of them or tens of thousands of them, you know what I mean? Leave it for cosmetics. Add more cosmetics. I don't see a problem with that. I don't think that's very difficult. You know, I love my cosmetics. I love my new dice. I love my new deck boxes. Make me buy more of those. Make cooler options. Make more options. Make exclusive ones. Make limited time ones. Make, you know, like, do stuff like that for your coins. And I think people would feel more weight in their coins and stuff like that. And then you got the crystals or whatever they are for cards. Keep that for just cards if you want. That's fine. Just make everything feel as worthwhile as your purple and crystals. And the coins.
You could also exactly use coins to buy crystals. That would be awesome.
Or that. Oh my god, yeah. That'd be great too.
Like, it's not a currency that you buy with real money, so there's no real quote-unquote value to crystals. Allow us to exchange, like, maybe, like, 5,000 coins for, like, 1,000 crystals or something like that.
Yeah.
Just let us take those coins, convert them into a currency that we actually want to use, and then use that currency. There's no danger in that whatsoever, especially without a trading system. It's not like we're gonna break your banks. Like, you're not making a penny off this game, which is like.
Oh no, we could buy the new EX deck. That if you got the premium pass, they gave you 4 of that EX anyways. It's like what? Okay.
That's one thing I will say that they hit the mark on is the passes.
It's so good. I love it.
On
I love it.
TCGO, you had to win like 200 games for a standard full art trainer. And nowadays, you buy the pass, and you get
the
like
meta
3 meta decks,
cool full art trainers,
exactly.
cool energies, cool.
The Shrouded Fable one.
Oh my god, yes.
You got like 2 alternate art rolls. You got 4 gold buddies. You got 2 gold switches now, which is awesome. Like, the passes have been elite, and that's one thing I really like, especially considering they're free.
I love
that's awesome.
When a new set comes out and they give you a couple decks that are like budget versions of the top decks that are supposed to be coming out. It's like, some people I complain about it, but I think it's great for players. I think it's like, okay, hey, they want you to experience playing at the highest level possible. There's no excuse you can't. Okay, yeah, you got the budget version of Terrapagos or whatever. Okay, play with it a little bit, gain some momentum, work up that pass. You're gonna get cool cards, and you're gonna get stuff that'll be more currency to build the highest level of Terrapagos. Now you got the coolest new deck. It's like, I love that. I think that's an amazing part of this game.
Yeah, like, they have good elements. Make the bad elements good.
Yes.
They have the ways to do it. They could do it tomorrow if they hire the right people.
Yeah.
I'm sure that, like, they
hire
want
me,
to.
I'll switch professions right now. What?
Real.
Yeah.
They need direction. I feel like that's what they lack, is a direction. Because I feel like TCG Live is just here to be here.
Yeah.
Rather than them saying, like, they want a game plan for this. They could partner with Limitless. They have money to do so. Instead of, like, the online tournaments thing, under the play button, there could be, like, a partner with us for tourneys or something like that. Click that, send you to Limitless. You get an affiliate code or, like an affiliate thing. You sign up using the Pokemon TCG launcher, and then you get, like, 1,000 credits or something. Like, they could do something like that. That'd be awesome.
That'd be sweet.
They have so many ideas that they can do, and it just seems like they're sitting on it. Or they're not sitting on it, they just haven't thought of it. And I want it.
I feel like it's impossible to say we haven't thought of it. There's been hundreds of creators before us who have had these same conversations. These ideas and thoughts, I mean, ours, I feel like, are unique to us, but so many other people have had other ideas that are unique to us and have such similar themes to them. It's impossible for me to believe that the Pokemon Company has not thought of them or has not heard of them. One of those has happened at this point. Which makes me feel like they're just not acting on it. It is now a conscious choice to not act on it, and I think that's what hurts.
Yeah. Have a survey that we can give feedback in.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I just now realized. There's no communication between us and developers. Nope. Not a bit. They have a Twitter account that they follow, like, creators on, and, like, the creator will post about a bug, and then they'll fix that bug.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's no way to really report it other than the Pokemon official website. And the chances of someone reading that out of the hundreds of thousands of tickets they get a day, it's just next to nothing. Tell us, like, if they tell us who the devs are, it's probably not going to be good for them because they're going to get a bunch of hate. But, like, give us someone to speak to that will actually sit there and listen. And that's something a lot of companies lack nowadays. Like, think of when just like the Sonic movie. Like, people were upset about the original design, and then they ended up changing it because of the community.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm sure they got some bad apples in there, obviously, but they ended up
haters, but they tried to work with what the people wanted to give them what they wanted because they knew it was for entertainment. And I think that's exactly what the TCG Live developers and coders or whoever, programmers, need to get on for us.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. Give us communication with the devs. That's all we really need.
Real.
And even if you limit Limitless to, like, the content creators, like Azul, LDF, people like that.
Yeah.
Like, let us send things in through them, and then, like, if they like the idea, preach it to the devs. I don't think that there's not a way to do that for them, but if there isn't, give them that option.
They might add more to their plate, and they might not want to do that, and that's okay. That's why I think something like an online forum just could help. help. You know, it just feels like we have more of a voice, and I think that's nice.
Yeah.
And kind of what people want and need.
We want to be heard.
Yes.
And it's like you guys are playing like it's a card game. It's not like a live service character hero shooter where everyone needs to be balanced every time there's a new patch and something comes out. Like the only things that we really like are asking for is something to do with coins, not having the game break every time a new set drops. Like bring back the older cards for people who actually enjoy playing them.
Respectable wants in a game that's popular and this loved.
This is all we need. Like, you guys had it before. What's stopping you now? Like, there's nothing. I hope there's nothing. I hope that the Pokemon Company isn't like forcing you guys not to act on these things, because I think the devs want it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No idea what it will be, but I think we actually are near full time for an episode. If you've got any lasting thoughts or not. I also haven't cooked dinner. I need to cook dinner for myself. It's getting late.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll just end it off with the TCG Live. I want it to be good. Let's make it good.
So before we jump into the ending, I just want to go into the last slide, say thank you Slides Go for this presentation. Again, I've never wanted to sponsor more than Slides Go. I use these presentations for stuff like this. So if you are looking for cool presentations for your PowerPoints, presentations in school and whatnot, trust me, I'm in a doctoral program. I still use these goofy slides as backgrounds, and my professors seem to love it. So it does not matter what level you take these presentation backgrounds to, you will do amazing. So yeah, thank you for letting me use the slides. So my contact info is here. Again, the TCG affiliate link will be in the description down below. So if you guys want to use that next time you're ordering cards, feel free to. I'd greatly appreciate it. It does support the channel, and I will try to use that to help the channel back and make it more enjoyable for viewers with things like raffles and whatnot. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this far into the episode. I appreciate you and your just generosity and understanding with my new and changing schedule and just how it's gotten a lot busier. So my uploads are less frequent, but obviously as I get through, times are easier to upload more. I'm going to. I still love this channel, like more than anything, and I'm still happy I did it. So thank you so much for watching. With that being said, Avery, anything else?
Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to us yap about TCG Live for an hour. I'm sure you've been sitting there the entire time going, yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. With that being said, stay epic. Peace.